Welcome to Directions Northeast. Hello, I'm Anthony Frazier. This program is a presentation of the Mass Communications Department for Northeast State Community College and is produced by the students through the college's video production facilities. This series of programs is designed to bring you the students' perspective on events and happenings throughout Northeast Tennessee. The program and the reports within it are part of the classroom and laboratory learning process for students in broadcasting and advertising public relations part of the mass communications area. How do professors know that they are using the most efficient and up-to-date instructional teaching methods? And what are the best methods for students to learn information? We'll answer both of those questions when we examine the STEP program on this edition of Direction Northeast.
Be among the first to experience Northeast State's new Regional Center for Health Professions in Kingsport. Enroll now for fall classes at www.kingsporthighered.org. Northeast State, we're here to get you there.
This edition of Direction Northeast focuses on a new teacher effectiveness program at Northeast State. The STEP program is a 5-year QEP or Quality Enhancement Plan designed to enhance the classroom's instruction of teachers and thus improve the quality of learning on the part of the students. All of this is a plan in partial fulfillment of the reaccreditation effort for the Southern Association of Colleges, or SACS. Our guests today are all part of the Northeast State reaccreditation effort. To my immediate left is Dr. Susan Graybill, Vice President of Institutional Effectiveness for the school. Next is Jim Kelly, Assistant Professor and Director of the Center for Teaching Excellence and Northeast State. And to my right, Ms. Nancy Forster, QEP Chair at Northeast State. Welcome everybody to Directions Northeast.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to begin the discussion by asking you, Dr. Graybill, to explain the purpose of accreditation.
Well, the purpose of accreditation is really to look at the institution and to make sure that we have standards in place that mean that a student's degree is worth something. So that when they go out into the workforce or when they go on for further education, that they've met standards and are successful.
Okay. Now, what are these acronyms, SACS, QEP, and STEP, and how do they relate to Northeast State?
Okay. I know acronyms can be a little confusing at times, so we try to make it as simple as possible. First of all, SACS is very important, and that stands, as you mentioned already, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. And this is the accreditation body. This is actually the group of people that visit our campus, and they usually do it on a 10-year basis, and they examine all of our credentials and all of our policies and things that relate to accreditation. So they want to be sure that we comply with those so that we will be reaccredited. This time around, they're requiring that we also, in addition to having everything else in order, that we design a quality enhancement plan, which is the QEP, and that is to show our commitment to teaching and learning. Well, we have to give our QEP a name. So this time we called it STEP, and that's an acronym for Strategies for Teaching Excellence Program. And that's a 5-year plan in which we are going to implement on our campus to create student-centered learning opportunities.
Okay, well, that sounds great. Nancy, I want to turn this one to you. How did the STEP program evolve?
Well, it actually is a kind of a long process. We began almost 2 years ago looking at institutional data. And we had what was, I would say, a good problem to have, that when we compare ourselves nationally with other colleges, we compare pretty well in most categories.
Well,
so, you know, instead of looking for a weakness, we're really trying to look to improve something that already is not that bad. But we started with focus groups of almost everybody in our college community: students, faculty, part-time faculty, our foundation, our employers, and ask everybody, what do you think we could do that would make our students better? And the kind of consensus among all those groups was that perhaps the students could learn to be more independent learners, take more responsibility for their own learning, and we determined that the best way to do that, to accomplish that, would be through a teacher education type of program, so that the teachers would be helping the students not only learn the subject, but also learn how to be better learners.
Better student. Yes. Now I'm going to turn back to you, Dr. Graybill. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me direct this at Nancy again. Does the STEP plan affect the entire faculty?
Well, yes and no. It will affect the entire faculty. Our formal plan is for full-time faculty, but we think because of the mentoring process that we have between our full-time and adjunct faculty that it will an outgrowth will be that it will eventually affect all faculty and maybe all classes, but the formal plan itself is for full-time faculty.
Okay. Now, Dr. Graybill, this one is going to be directed to you. How important is the institution in SACS accreditation, and how is it to be achieved?
Accreditation is absolutely vital to this institution. It is what institutions look for when a student is transferring credit. You know, they want a student to have credit from an institution that is accredited. And so they look at that very, very closely. Again, people in the workforce are looking for students to come from an accredited institution. Also, in order for any institution to give out like Pell Grant funds or loans, those type of things, the institution has to be accredited, so it is extremely important to the institution and to our students and to student success. As Jim mentioned, it's a process that we go through every 10 years. Formally, we go through every 10 years, but honestly, accreditation is an everyday process. It's what we look every day to see, are we maintaining standards? Are we achieving our excellence and our goals in that? So officially on a 10-year basis, but accreditation and what it stands for, we do every day.
Work on it every day.
Every day.
The Quality Enhancement Plan is relatively new to the SACS accreditation.
Yes.
Why was it added, and how is that plan achieved?
Well, it was added in 2000, 2001, but since we go through this every 10 years, this is the first time we're experiencing this Quality Enhancement Plan. And the reason it was added was that SACS felt that the standards that were being used for accreditation were backwards looking. Do you have this? Do you do this? You know, and it's a check sheet of making sure the checks and balances of what we do and making sure that we have quality in place. But they felt like we needed to look forward as well. What are you going to do? And so this Quality Enhancement Plan was the brainchild of the Southern Association to say, how can we prompt our institutions to continually improve? There's not one institution that can't improve in something. So that was the purpose of the Quality Enhancement Plan, continuous improvement.